Call meeting to order. Suzanne, can you, well, let's do the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Suzanne, please do the roll call.
Chairman Roth,
Here.
Vice Chairman Drew,
Here.
Commissioner Blitt,
Here.
Commissioner Lane,
They're coming.
they're on their way,
Lane and Younger right behind me.
Commissioner McDuff,
Here.
Commissioner McNinch,
Here.
Commissioner Morai,
Here.
Commissioner Wallace,
Here.
and Commissioner Young.
They're on their way. County Advisory Boards, could you please stand and announce yourself?
Paul Dixon, Park. Glenn Butch, Mineral. Doug Martin, Carson.
Eric Flowers, Reno.
Joe Krim, Virgie.
Sean Shea, Bucktail. Miles Humphries, Washington. Brad Johnston, Lyon.
Roy Lytle, Lincoln.
Kevin Strozzi, Nye County.
Okay, thank you guys for coming. Next item on the agenda is item 16, approval of agenda. Anybody have anything we need to take out of order or do in a different fashion today on the agenda? Any questions on the agenda? Seeing none, it's an action item. Anybody have any public comment on the agenda in Elko, Las Vegas? Seeing none, I'll bring it back. Anybody in Reno have any public comment on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for a motion.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Drew, second by Commissioner Wallace. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Member items and announcements, correspondence. Any commission member have anything they want to bring forward at this point? Commissioner Wallace?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just real quick, I forgot to mention it yesterday, but I had a meeting with the park committee that I'm a part of, and the only real business from that meeting is we elected a chairman. And we're supposed to have another meeting on June 3rd, 3 o'clock, Department of Ag.
All right. Any other commissioners have anything they want to bring forward? Commissioner Drew?
Just a quick announcement. If you're here today, if you could please sign in the back for our regulation documents. And then if you want to speak, please turn in a card. If you turned one in yesterday, don't worry about it. I keep track both days on the website. Thank you.
Any other commissioners have anything? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 18, county advisory boards. Do you, any county advisory boards have something they want to bring forward that is not on today's agenda? All right. Elko, I don't know if we have a commissioner up there or not. Okay, can't hear anything, so I guess we don't. We'll move on to agenda item number 19, commission regulations adoption for possible action. 19A, commission general regulation 445, black powder definition, LCD file number R045-14. Paul Downcastle.
Thank you. Good morning. For the record, Paul Downcastle, Acting Chief Game Warden. This morning I'm presenting for possible action the General Commission Regulation 445, black powder definition, LCD file number R045-14. A brief history of this CGR. It's a result of a petition that was heard and withdrawn at the December 2013 Commission meeting in Reno. Conceptual and proposed language was discussed at the January 2014 Commission meeting in Las Vegas, and this proposed regulation was workshopped yesterday. The current regulation refers to two specific brand name black powder substitutes for muzzleloader only big game hunts. There are over 100 brand name black powder substitutes. Having only two specific name brands within the language is confusing to sportsmen. Removing that name brand black powder substitutes from the language should reduce confusion on the type of powders allowed during the muzzleloader only big game hunts. So this CGR proposes language to amend NAC 503142 by simply removing the name brand black powder substitute language, therefore allowing the use of all black powder substitutes. Did all have any questions?
Any questions from the commission? Seeing none, we'll take it out to public comments. Is there any public comment in Las Vegas on 19A? Hearing none on Belco? Nothing, okay. Any public comment Reno on agenda item 19A? Seeing none, I'll bring it, oh, come on up. Better raise your hand fast, because we're gonna try to keep this thing going.
Fern Winder, Elder Cab for the rest of it. We brought this up on our agenda, and we just want to let you guys know that we support this.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Drew just asked me if Las Vegas is on. We want to ensure that Las Vegas is participating. Is there any way that somebody in Las Vegas could speak to us so we know that you're currently in contact with us?
I'll just call her. I was starting to text, but I'll call her.
Oh, Las Vegas, are you in mute? Look at your microphones and see if there's a red light on in the middle of them. If there is a red light, you're off.
You don't get up better.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Okay, before we take any action on this action item, which is our basic first action item, let's take a 5-minute recess and see if we can make sure we have contact with Las Vegas before we move on. Okay, we're gonna call the meeting back. I think we're working now. And before we move on with the continuation of May, since the people in Las Vegas missed out, we have completed item 15, which is called to order. The 16th agenda. That is an action item. We did not take public comment from people in Las Vegas. If you have any comment on that, we can take your comment, reopen that, suspend the rule, reopen that item if we need to. So is there any public comment on item 16 in Las Vegas?
No, thank you, Chairman.
Okay, so we've already taken action on it with no additional public comment. We're going to continue on. We did have a few member items. Grant Wallace did bring out the what's your committee, Grant?
Park Committee.
Yes, Park Committee. So with that being said, then there was no county advisory board comment. We are currently in 19A, which is Commission General Regulation 445, black powder definition. We have heard the beginning of that. If you have any questions on what's going on in 19A, we can revisit that. But if there's no question, I would like to continue with where we left off. Is there any questions in Las Vegas on 19A, black powder?
No, Chairman.
Okay, hearing none, we're going to continue on. We did have one public comment in Reno. Is there any other public comment on 19A, black powder substitute? Seeing none, we're going to bring it back to the commission for possible action.
I would move to approve CGR 445 LCB file number R045-14 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Drew, second by Commissioner Wallace. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed unanimous. We're moving on to 19B, Commission General Regulation 13-14, Amendment 1, Wild Horse Wilson Sink, Willow Creek Reservoir. Mr. Schilberg.
For the record, Chief of Fisheries John Schilberg, Chairman Rob and Commissioners, we're presenting Commission Regulation 13-14 Amendment 1, which would remove harvest limits, or rather provide a limited take of game fish from certain waters through February 28th, 2015. Specifically, this, as I presented previously to the commission, is driven by significant and serious drought conditions across some areas of the state, particularly in northern Nevada. Respective to this CR amendment, the waters affected are Wild Horse Reservoir. As of earlier this week, May 6th, storage in Wild Horse was approximately 17,000 acre feet, or about 23% of capacity. We anticipate that irrigation demand will be significant. Senior water rights holders downstream of the reservoir have already indicated the intention to reduce it to at or below the minimum pool, and in fact have petitioned the Forest Service, which administers that minimum pool agreement, to allow them to take the reservoir storage down to about 2,000 acre feet, or about 3% of capacity. So we anticipate significant impacts to both the trout fishery and warm water species over the summer, without any indication conditions are going to improve. So this CR amendment will allow anglers the opportunity to maximize harvest of fish out of there, particularly early in the summer when those fish are still in good condition before they're inevitably lost because of the low storage and warm temperatures later in the year. Willow Creek Reservoir is a similar situation. Currently it's at about 25% of capacity, but we anticipate that it will be drawn down significantly. Irrigation has already started, and we anticipate it will be down to probably 10% or less of capacity by the end of the summer, with a similar effect on both the warm water and cold water fisheries we're expect to see at Wild Horse. We are requesting one change to the CR 13-14 Amendment 1 as was submitted, and that is to remove Wilson Sink Reservoir from that request because of a series of early spring storms that happened over the past month or so. Storage in Wilson Sink has actually increased to about 70 to 75% of capacity based on our discussions with the landowner and the downstream irrigators. We anticipate that storage levels in Wilson Sink will be maintained adequately over the summer, and we do not anticipate any significant problems there with sport fisheries. So we are requesting that amendment number 1 be applied only to Wild Horse and Willow Creek reservoirs. And I would be happy to answer any further questions.
Any questions of the commission? One question I have, we did this last year at Wild Horse. What success did we have? Did we see an increase in angler use?
We did see some. I think because of the circumstances, the way that it got handled a little oddly last year, we should have. The process that happened was not to have come this early to the commission. It ended up being an emergency regulation by the governor, and then a subsequent follow-up. The regulation went into place a little bit later than we would have liked last year. So I think that by the time that the word got out and there was really an opportunity for anglers to take advantage of it, that the fish conditions had already started to deteriorate. We already had pretty warm temperatures, and but we did have some response. I think there was certainly more response than we would have had, without the regulation. So that it did create an opportunity, and some people did take advantage of it.
Okay. Any other questions of the commission? Seeing none, I'll take it out to public comment. Any public comment on this? 19B. Just come forward.
For the record, I'm Wonder Elko Cab. We did discuss this at the Elko Cab with Wild Horse and everything being in our area. We do support the regulation change.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any public comment in Elko? Any public comment in Las Vegas?
No, thank you, Chairman.
Hearing none, we'll bring it back to the commission for possible action. Commissioner Wallace?
I move to approve Commission Regulation 13-14 Amendment Number 1 as presented by the department, with the exception of removing Wilson Sink Reservoir changes.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wallace, second by Commissioner Drew. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passed unanimously. We'll move on to 19C, Commission Regulation 14-10, 2014 big game folder, 2014, 2015 season. Mike Cox and Cody. It's not going to be fair to the people here in Reno, but the only way we've become pretty accustomed to doing this at the Valley Road office, where we have a screen on the side and you see the changes while Mike makes the changes. We don't have a screen here. The only screen in this room is right behind the commission. For the commission to participate in this discussion, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to ask the commissioners to move their seats around the other side of the table so we can watch this. We're going to have our backs to you guys. It's not out of disrespect, it's just that's how we're going to operate the meeting today. I'm going to be operating my meeting with my back to you, so if you need to come to the podium, you don't have to yell at me. All right, so we're going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to